Born in London on July 13th, 1527, John Dee would go on to become one of the most learned men in Elizabethan England. He built one of the largest private libraries in England with thousands of books and manuscripts. He was a serious mathematician, taught and wrote about navigation and geography. He was an astrologer, an astronomer, and an occult philosopher. You could say that John Dee stood at the crossroads of science, empire, religion, and magic. He moved in powerful circles and helped Queen Elizabeth I select an auspicious date for her coronation through astrology. But Dee was not satisfied with ordinary knowledge, and so he began attempting to communicate with angels. He had become convinced that some truths could not be reached through ordinary means, books, instruments, or observation. He believed there was divine wisdom and that angels might reveal it. And so he worked with the spirit mediums, or scryers, the most famous of whom was Edward Kelly. Through crystal gazing sessions and elaborate rituals, Dee and Kelly recorded messages they believed came from angelic entities. From these sessions came what many now call the Enochian system, a body of angelic language, symbols, and sacred communications that later became hugely influential in Western occult traditions. This may sound like a dramatic leap from scholarship into the supernatural. But in Dee's world, these boundaries were not so clear. For him, mathematics, astronomy, alchemy, and angelic communication were all part of the same search, understanding the hidden structure of creation, much like Jack Parsons over 400 years later. But John Dee represents a time in history when science and occultism had not yet fully split apart, when a man could help shape navigation and political thought by day, but then spend the night trying to receive messages from heaven. His later life was far less glamorous. When Queen Elizabeth died, King James I ascended to the throne. James I was deeply hostile to the occult, branded Dee as a conjurer, and rejected his petitions for protection and patronage. After years abroad and deep involvement in spiritual experiments, in 1583, Dee returned to England. His fortunes declined, and found his library damaged by an angry mob, which suspected Dee of sorcery and witchcraft. They had broken into his home, stole and vandalized his massive, irreplaceable collection of 4,000 books and scientific instruments. In 1604, Dee was forced to retire from his college position in Manchester. Shortly after, the plague swept through the region, claiming the lives of his wife and several of his children. Without an income and largely shunned by society, Dee was forced to continuously sell off his surviving personal properties and remaining books to survive. He spent his final years in total isolation, cared for only by his daughter Catherine. He died in relative poverty, but his reputation never faded. So on this day, July 13th, remember John Dee, the Queen's advisor who looked beyond the stars, beyond the court, and possibly beyond the veil.